Alright, what is up, everybody? How are the humans of Earth doing? Hope everybody's doing good out there. Okay, cool. Alright, looks like everything is getting set up. Alright. This is your first time tuning in. Welcome to the spaceship. Just firing up the engines right now. Just want to say good evening to the humans of Earth. I hope everybody's doing good out there. Are you? Are you doing fantastic? Hope so. I hope so. My love is going out to all of you guys. I got to test some cool things today. Hey, what's up, Kay? What's up? We're going to get things started up here in just a second. If you want to participate in the chat, go ahead and head over to Twitch. Twitch.tv/SovereignStarSeed, where we blast off every night cryptocurrency news. So, tried to test out some streaming software today. I thought that was really cool because testing out that streaming software. Let's go ahead and get up on cam just so you can see me. Good evening. Boom. Let's get the light on in the spaceship. What's up? What's up, Earth? Y'all feeling good? I hope so, because I'm feeling good. Boom, boom. Yo, so been doing lots of cool things with the stream. As you can see, we now have a tip jar right over there, and that's awesome. And it's not just for tips, not just for donations, but it's for all kinds of things. It's like for anybody that's following, anybody that cheers, anybody that does all that stuff, but only through Twitch. So you gotta be up on that Twitch chat. Thank you to all the regulars that join the spaceship every night. So let's go ahead and talk about it. My name is Seth. My friends call me Silky. I run the spaceship right now. This is Sovereign Starseed, and every night we blast off at 10 p.m. Mountain, 5 o'clock Universal, just to make sure that we could give you guys some of that good old cryptocurrency news, because there's so much of it coming out, and it's so pertinent for us to stay aware of this. And yeah, so what I'll say is that, you know, I'm super grateful to be able to do this every night. And not only that, we're also streaming esoteric studies as well, just so that way anybody that wants to get some of the other knowledge, you know, that's pretty hard to get on the mainstream, you could end up getting that through this channel. So that's something else to be on the lookout for. Anybody that's following probably got some notifications today about how, like, I had tested out my mobile setup, and I went out hiked with that. That was pretty fun. I loved that. I was able to, like, really feel like I'm not going on my hikes anymore alone, you know. Let me just check the audios real fast. Audio check. Anybody that's following probably got some notifications today about how, like, I tested out my... Cool. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and get this stuff started up here. I had so much fun being able to, like, stream and hike around. Ooh, I hope you guys can hear the spaceship music. Hold on, let me test the audios real fast. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and get this stuff. Cool. All right. Yeah, dude, we went streaming, went for a hike, went down into a tunnel. That stuff was so fun, but then, like, I lost service, so I wasn't able to, like, stream while we went through the tunnel. That was so much fun, but whatever, you know, it's just all testing. So if you guys saw those videos today, that was fun, that was cool. Thank you for joining in. Thank you to any of the new followers, becoming crew members, making the right decisions. PB's joining the spaceship. What's up, my friend? So glad that you're able to make it. So hey, just gonna let you know, if you want to chat, you gotta go over to Twitch. Gotta look at that URL at the bottom, my friend. So, alright, and Lil Flipside's up in the house. What up? Okay. So we're getting some people aboard this spaceship. You guys like cryptocurrency news? You guys want to know about Bitcoin? This crazy cryptocurrency, this digital money, these geek coins that people used to make fun of me for? But they seem to be, you know, the hottest thing to bankers right now. Isn't that funny? Isn't there an emoji that goes like this? So yeah. Anyways, friends, let's go ahead and get into it. Cryptocurrency news every night, 10 o'clock. Let's go ahead and show you what we got. So for tonight, So, first of all, on Cointelegraph.com, they have a good article coming out that says ordinary leather wallets being supplanted by digital wallets this Christmas. So they say basically that if you, for cyber defense, you can eat your cake too. But basically, all of this talks about is about how this year. I just wanted to bring this article up to pose one question, and that's that Could this year be finally the first year on Earth where we're going to see a massive amount of adoption of other kinds of wallets along with, the traditional types of gifts that go into wallets every year? Could this finally be like the first year where we see that happen? So I think that it's definitely possible. And so I am super excited to see something like this happen, and I'm actually even more excited to try to see what's going to happen next year, just because of how converted the globe will be towards cryptocurrencies. So, yep. Next in Bitcoin news, news.bitcoin.com is talking about how Hong Kong investors rush to enter the Bitcoin markets. So with Bitcoin again dominating headlines, a flood of new money has recently entered the cryptocurrency markets, including from emerging crypto markets such as Hong Kong. Local media outlets are reporting, however, that many new investors may be ill prepared for the risks associated with cryptocurrency. So Bob LeBurge, a Canadian in his 50s living in Hong Kong, recently invested in Bitcoin for the first time. And I think that's beautiful. Holy crap, my computer's running hot. Let me just go ahead and confirm a couple. Let me just check the spaceship. Holy cow. Okay. Yeah, it is running hot though. So anyways, speaking to South China Morning Post, Mr. LeBurge stated that he first invested on Bitcoin November 15th, purchasing $500 worth when the price was at $6,600, despite knowing very little about cryptocurrency at the time. After a fortnight, Mr. LeBurge chose to invest tens of thousands more into Bitcoin, however, and was left in a high state of anxiety due to his chosen Bitcoin exchange failing to credit his account for 4 days. So, the way I dealt with banks was exactly the mindset when I was getting into Bitcoin. For most exchanges, it's very difficult to get in touch with them. The only way to contact people, unlike a bank where you call their number and someone answers in a couple of minutes, is through a support ticket. And if they don't answer the support ticket, you are left hanging, and it's stressful when you've got a huge amount of money sitting there. He said that he will not invest any further capital into Bitcoin despite his investment increasing in value by 70%. My wife saw that it was going up and she said we should invest more, but I said no, let's not lose our heads. The president of Hong Kong Bitcoin Association has commented on the rush. There is certainly a big influx of new Bitcoin users. The price increases give people an incentive to get in as fast as they can. We call that FOMO, or fear of missing out. And Mr. Wee stated the problem is that people are not making good decisions and they're not thinking about exactly what it is they're investing in and what the risks are. So that's exactly, I absolutely echo that as well. Anybody that is watching on this channel, just make sure that when you're getting into these types of things, be getting into it with money that you're comfortable with losing. But let me ask you this, alongside that question, what other investment has that statement not applied to? And that should tell you that this is just common sense. Okay, so because of that, definitely don't worry, because as this Bitcoin started out at $1,000 in January. Here we are in December, it's popping $20,000. Show me anything else on the planet that has done something like that doesn't take from people, and it doesn't, there isn't a misfortune behind it. There isn't any type of some type of like corruption behind it. So because of that, I love this, and I love the fact that there are a lot of people that are getting into Bitcoin. They're rushing in, and they're not seeing the types of potential downfalls that could happen with this. And I think it's very important for us to remember. But as I could say, you guys, staying alert with this channel, staying aware, making sure that you're sovereign with your decisions. You won't be worried about dumping money or losing money, and you definitely won't be whining to other people. Not saying, Mr. LeBurge, that you're whining at all, but I'm just trying to say you won't be even letting other people know in a detrimental way that you lost money, and you would be investing money that you'd be okay with losing. And what's interesting is that his investment went up by 70%, but he still doesn't want to get in. So that's fascinating to me, and it just shows something about the human psyche, the human emotions. And not trying to put this guy on blast, but he's been a very smart investor. He got into something very important, and if any of you guys haven't, that's something to see. But just taking a look at that, that's exactly what I was seeing there. And so, yeah, there's a lot of money that's going to be rushing into the market, especially as governments start to adopt it and start to say that it's okay. That's going to give a lot of other people the confidence to do the same, to get into it. And so that is going to help the price out. There's going to be a lot of what we call emotional money or dumb money that's flooding the market, but that's okay. Just because, with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I think it has a much greater potential to educate people a lot faster than fiat currencies did before. So that's important, and I'd just love to end up seeing that as well. So news.bitcoin.com, put that out. And Bob LaBerge, hey bro, it's great that you ended up getting in. I'd say the fact that you were in, that was great, but that's how this world is going to start to work, my friend, is that we're going to have to start to send support tickets off to companies. And yeah, if you got a huge amount of money sitting there, then maybe the lesson to learn right now is to go ahead and do just incremental investments. So say you want to end up investing $1,000, but you haven't tried this exchange before. Why would you put $1,000 into an exchange that you haven't had any experience with? And then why would you have any type of bad feelings about that? You don't have any experience with them before, so you don't know. But I also want anybody to know that these support tickets, this is pretty much the way that a lot of these companies are working, and a lot of the ways that the world works. And so you can end up calling up a bank and you can have somebody that you could talk to within a few minutes, sure. But I could say that, with the centralization that comes from that, is that worth, the trade-off of being able to do what you want when you want with your money? And that's what's important here. And so, I think that this type of mindset is something that is worthy of helping. Just because, he sees the value in an investment, but now if we're not seeing the value in it, then what have we learned? I would just say, I would keep on investing, but next time I would just invest $50. That way I don't feel bad because I have a bunch of money sitting there. That's the only reason why he feels bad, is that he had a bunch of money sitting there. But, if it's going to deter you from the whole market and the whole investment altogether, that's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So, not trying to put the guy on blast, but I just want people to recognize so that we can all learn and we can all celebrate this here and say, hey, here's somebody that was open to sharing his experience. We can learn from that as well. So, definitely, what I would just say next time, Bob, you did everything right. Just go ahead and pop in $50 at a time, and maybe do it at multiple exchanges, and then submit support tickets to all of them, and then see how long it takes for you to get those answers back. Maybe even not even give any money to any of these exchanges. Just submit a support ticket to them and say, hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to ask you some questions that I couldn't find out on the website. And see how long it takes them to get back to you. That way, you'll be out $0 and you just sent off a support ticket. Why not? So that's really all. Next, I would say Coindesk.com is putting out an article that says the transformed role of government in the blockchain era. And so Dr. Aisha Ben Bashir is Director General at Smart Dubai Office, a citywide initiative to transform Dubai into the world's smartest and happiest city. That's pretty cool. Having been part of the UAE government's rapid transformation over the last 2 decades, I find myself for the first time at an unusual junction. Business as usual or complete disruption and reassessment of the role of government and its relationship to its constituents. I think this is very important and awesome for it. Oh wow, let me just go ahead and check the chat. Hey you guys, everybody that's joining in from Periscope, just make sure that you follow the link at the bottom if you want to end up participating in on the chat. Plus, you can earn currency on the channel when you're watching from Twitch, just so you know. So thank you to everybody, Patrick, Musty, Jim, Thomas. Appreciate all you guys for hopping aboard this spaceship and learning a little bit about cryptocurrency tonight. So yes, we do this every night, 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 o'clock Universal. So yeah, this is really cool because it says the culprit for disruption in this scenario is blockchain, the technology that has rattled the world in 2017 and brought back reminiscences of the .com days, namely adapt or perish. So the UAE and Dubai in particular have chosen to adapt at every turn point, and for 40 plus years this choice has served well. Here we are now, yet again, choosing not only to adapt but to embrace a technology that we believe has the features to not only change the way people interact with their government, but transform public sector service transactions and delivery. And I think that's perfect. It says to understand why, I'll first state why that governments have long existed to manage societal growth through the provision of public trusted services. And I love that definition. I think it's very open. I think it's broad, and you guys know, if you've been watching the channel, how sensitive I am about some of the wording that a lot of these things are. And it's with the good cause, and I'll show you here in just a little bit. So yeah, to understand why, I'll first state that governments have long existed to manage societal growth through the provision of trusted public services. So that's what we have to remember, is that our government is a public trust. Every agency within governments are public trusts that the public set up and agree upon to have to help manage everybody. And they manage societal growth, and that's perfect. I love that definition. So it says, historically, the delivery of these services involved frequent and time-consuming interactions between public sector agencies and constituents. If you wish to buy a property, the government's role would be to authenticate the transaction and record it for future reference. That's it. That's why they have the registries. That's why they have titles. It's just to record and do accounting, okay? The purchaser in this scenario would, therefore, be required to fill out and present several documentations to ensure the government can do its authentication and recording role properly. The relationship between the two, government and individual, is purely transactional, give and take. Governments around the world have believed for centuries that they are achieving their objective by fulfilling these traditional transactional roles, albeit through very heavy reliance on manual processes and unnecessary labor work. The happiness objective. Let me just check the audios real fast, making sure I'm still heard. Cool, perfect, cool. So the Dubai government differs from others around the world in that it aims to make Dubai the happiest city on earth. We aspire to touch the life of every individual to ensure that their everyday city experiences and interactions are efficient, seamless, safe, and personalized. In short, we want to give people back time they would have otherwise spent on filling paperwork and visiting government service centers. More importantly, at the core of this vision is a belief in the profound power of emerging technologies to dramatically improve city experiences. A belief we have put into motion with the release of the Dubai blockchain strategy in October of last year. But you might ask, why blockchain? Dubai's rapid development in various economic sectors means that traditional processes need to be continuously updated to ensure efficiency and speed. Government effectiveness became increasingly imperative, especially in government-to-consumer and government-to-government services. In particular, the growth of the business, construction, and tourism sectors saw the government needing tighter controls over activities such as permissions and transaction verification and tracking. Simple processes were getting ever more complicated with the addition of activities that were now in demand by the city's new businesses and residents. It was becoming clear that Dubai needed an agile solution to streamlining its growing government processes, transformation, and practice. In response, Dubai launched a citywide Dubai blockchain strategy in October of last year, with the objective of executing all applicable transactions using blockchain by 2020. I remember reading about this last year, guys, and I thought that was very attractive that Dubai is doing that, and they're seeing the point of what blockchain is going to do to the planet. And they are trying to get behind it in a way that all countries are going to start to get behind it, where they're going to try to leverage the power of the blockchain to make their country seem like the most hottest place to be on earth, baby. So that's a good way to end up seeing this. And Dubai saw that. They knew, and they already started over a year ago. Okay? And our government's still even like just trying to figure out maybe we should hire some people to look at this. Isn't that funny? And we have other governments in the world that are saying, nope, it's a threat. We cannot have people use it at all. So you guys, this is all just to help you remember that we are living at a beautiful time. It's an amazing time to be alive. And Dubai is definitely doing things to try to set itself up and position itself to be attractive. And I'll tell you right now, to this person, to this alien, I am attracted. I like what Dubai has going on. I do want to say that we got some work to do with the mail system, the street system. Hey, is anybody watching this from Dubai? Aka and Tony, thank you so much for joining. Make sure that you guys end up getting on the URL at the bottom of the chat. But you know, if any of you guys are in Dubai and you guys have watched this, like, make sure that you remember, you know what I'm talking about. We got to get the mail system down. We got to get the street names down, man. So, because I have a friend that was in Dubai, and they were just basically saying that, hey, it's awesome, except the fact that, like, you don't know where your mail is going over here, and they don't have a system like in the U.S. where we have zip codes, and it's easy to get mail. And the streets, it's very hard to try to, like, get around in the streets just because they're still trying to establish a lot of that. But hey, you know, those are just call outs because that's low hanging fruit. You know, like any establishing company or country is going to have those types of problems. I'd be shocked if a country came out perfect from the get go, right? So there'd be something very scary about that. You'd just be waiting for the problem to start. So that's what's great. And I think that it's awesome that, you know, Dubai is trying to position itself in an area and in a way to try to, you know, make itself attractive to people. And it's becoming attractive to me. To check out what this strategy is. So it says the strategy, the Dubai blockchain strategy, establishes a roadmap for the introduction of blockchain technology to Dubai and the creation of an open platform to share the technology with cities across the globe. We designed it essentially around 3 pillars that connect government, private sector, and the global community because of our strong belief in the power of collaboration. 1. Government efficiency. Implement blockchain technology in applicable government services. That's the applicable word, is applicable. That's the most operative word right there. Is in applicable government services, because not every government service is going to need a blockchain. In fact, anybody that's looking at this or watching this, think about this. What areas of the government would blockchain never apply? And what areas are we wondering why blockchain has not already been applied to? Just to stay balanced. So 2, industry creation. Support the creation of a blockchain industry through providing an enabling ecosystem that empowers startups and business. And 3, global leadership. Lead the global thinking on blockchain technology and become the hub for blockchain knowledge, networks, and skill development. I think that is beautiful. That is, oh wow. So it talks about how, you know, the first pillar of the Dubai blockchain strategy is government efficiency. So they plan to enable a paperless digital layer for all city transactions, converting millions of documents, covering everything from visa applications to bill payments to license renewals into digital blockchain secured form. The second pillar of the strategy is industry creation. Smart Dubai aims to create an enabling ecosystem for citizens and startups to create new businesses using blockchain. In May of this year, the Smart Dubai Global Blockchain Challenge saw 21 startups fly into Dubai from 19 cities to pitch their best and brightest blockchain ideas, several of which are now being piloted around the city. See that for innovation? That's beautiful. Maybe one of them was for the mail system. Maybe one of them was for them street roads. You know what I'm talking about? So if you've been in Dubai, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that I've been there, but that's what my friends say. The third pillar of the Dubai blockchain strategy is international leadership. The strategy aims to position Dubai as a global thought leader in blockchain through both formal and informal cross-border collaboration. I think this is very beautiful, and this is you know, seeing a good way of holding up cryptocurrencies, of trying to be able to show the world that, like, look, you know, this is a beautiful way of being able to do it, and it's us trying to ask for help. It's us also trying to collaborate outside of our borders and open up what I've always been talking about, is healthy discourse. And so that's amazing. So huge thumbs up from Sovereign Starseed to Dubai. Super proud that you guys are doing those types of things with that, and I want other countries around the globe to follow suit. So Y'all want to do it? Y'all are doing it. Y'all are making it happen. Y'all are becoming global thought leaders in blockchain. And it's because of how quickly you're embracing it. It's because of how open arms you are. And it's because of how tightly you want to hug it. That's the quickest way of being able to say it to as many classes as possible, my friends. So let's try to get everybody else around the globe to try to hug this type of technology as much as they can as well, because it's going to help out with our mission on the spaceship, restoring sovereignty to Earth. Anyways, next, Coindesk.com is putting out an article that says France wants G20 nations to discuss Bitcoin regulation. So, basically, French or the finance minister of France, Bruno Le Maire, sorry if I'm butchering your name, said in an interview that he will ask Argentina, which is set to take control of the G20 presidency, to put Bitcoin on the agenda in an upcoming gathering in April. I think that's very interesting that France is trying to tap out to its homie and its friend in Argentina to try to bring this up at the meeting. So Le Maire was quoted as saying, "I'm going to propose at the next G20 president, Argentina, that's probably why, it's just because it's the president of the meeting. Argentina, that at the G20 summit in April, we have a discussion all together on the question of Bitcoin. There is evidently a risk of speculation." Oh, that's sad. "There is a risk of speculation. We need to consider and examine this and see how, with all the G20 members, we can regulate Bitcoin." Are you serious? So this is basically Bruno Le Maire trying his hardest to put clamps down on Bitcoin, and he's the France finance minister. Now, if you'll remember last night how we were reported on how the European Union is trying to find its own way to clamp down on Bitcoin. It wants to regulate. It wants to control the planet. And you know what else? The way that it's doing it is it feels like it's innocent. It feels like it's trying to get rid of the terrorists and trying to get rid of the bad actors in the space. But I want you guys to know that the bad actors just simply rise to the surface. It's nature. It's something you can't avoid. So because of that, you're seeing, and I love being able to have my regulars up on the spaceship and watching this all the time, because now you get to see how different governments around the globe are trying to remain relevant by trying to be the first ones to actually regulate this crazy internet money that's out of control. Whatever government can do that first is gonna make themselves seem very good to the other governments. Then they're gonna pitch their plan to the other governments and be like, "See, look. And it doesn't matter what country it is, my friends. It doesn't matter. It could be like Brazil. It could be, for example, Brazil, we finally regulated Bitcoin. We got it under regulation. Now, all you other governments, you need to follow our template, because look at our data. We have regulated it, and now there is no terrorism. There's no terrorism." But you guess what, my friends? That's impossible to say as well, because they're going to show reports, whatever country it may be, and they're going to go, "Look, if we just go ahead and monitor and track and trace everybody and make everybody go ahead and upload all these documents, then we can end up lowering the terrorism level from here down to here. You see? I'm relevant. Pay me." You see? That's how it goes, my friends. And that's as simple and as quickly as we could condense it, okay? And I know that there are parts of me that, could be seen as doing this with more tact, but I illustrate these points candidly so that we can see this. Because right now you're seeing Bruno Le Maire going through the motions I just displayed. He's trying his hardest to display relevancy and make France look good. Because now we're hearing that the European Union's trying to look good and trying to be the first ones to clamp down on this and control everybody and get rid of as much terrorism as possible, because they got the plan now. Let me just tell everybody, we've been operating with cryptocurrency since 2009. We've been operating on cryptocurrencies in 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Where were the governments? Where were the regulators? Where were the people trying to stop terrorism then, huh? Why is it all of a sudden now coming out? Why all of a sudden now do we have to start to define these words and control our people and control our populaces? Let me just ask you guys, is this really the way to evolve forward? Is this really the way to end up coming together as a planet, to learn more about our planet, to get off of our planet, to advance further? Or are we going to continue to go into the same structures that we've seen don't work, that we're fed up with, that we don't want anymore? We clearly see the huge gaps in it. Look at what just happened with the internet. It's going to take years to end up trying to undo that stupid blemish. For what? For why? But here's the deal. We're also creating alternatives, my friends. We will prevail. We will survive. And we will make it through this. We'll make it through everything. Because we have to. We have to. And so because of that, there are these alternatives that are coming out. Look into alternative coins that are decentralizing the internet, alternative search engines, things like that. Because this type of regulation, it can only be had in the playgrounds that everybody consents to. Okay? And if we start to consent to a different playground, well then, yeah, it's going to be that, just politicians are going to be playing in the sandbox together with each other. And I hope they have a lot of fun with that. Because this whole world is now starting to bubble and become beautiful. Look at how everybody's starting to use these things. The people that haven't had the opportunities to use cryptocurrencies before and are getting the opportunities to use them now with freedom, oh my goodness, are you starting to see evolution happen? And that is where it starts to get me sensitive. When we see people wanting to end up bringing up at the next G20 meeting, we're going to figure out how we can regulate Bitcoin. Let me ask you, how are you going to regulate my transactions? I'm already doing transactions that are regulated by the things I say and the things that the person I transact with say. That's where it has to come, my friends. And Bruno, I just really want you to know, my friend, that we are open to talking. We're open to discussing this type of thing because we just need you to simply see the technology in it. Because I think ultimately everybody on the planet would eventually want this. They'd want to see the innovation. They'd want to see the new forms of art, the new forms of music, the new forms of technology, the new forms of everything is coming together because of this. So let's not try to regulate it. What is that? That's like trying to train a brand new plant to grow in a certain way under a certain light. But this brand new plant, we don't know anything about, so it's stupid of us to try to train it to grow in a certain way or to try to regulate it. Because then it could end up breaking out of the regulations that we set on it. That plant may break the barriers that we try to grow it under because it's brand new. We don't know what it's like. We don't know it yet. And woe to the people that try to regulate a growing plant that is unstoppable. Woe to those people that are going to try to put their lashes and their ropes down on it because they're just going to break. Under the power and the willpower of our species. So what I'll say, my friends, is let's go ahead and make sure that we end up looking at next April. We go ahead and see what happens at that G20 meeting. And we also try to end up seeing if there's anything leading up to it. And I would say from now until then, let's do our best to represent these currencies as sovereignly as we can, as beautifully and as honorably as we can. And that way it'll be hard for... Let's make it hard for centralized regulators to to have a need to put regulations on it. You see? Let's make that hard by upholding these currencies in a beautiful way. By being honorable with each other. I want you guys to know every time I've asked for a refund in Bitcoin from somebody, just by sending them an honorable message, they've always sent my Bitcoin back. Not just Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, other coins. Doesn't matter. I've asked about that. I've asked so many times for people to send it back. I've paid for things in Bitcoin. I've overpaid because I didn't know if the transaction fee was being taken out on my end. And I just simply sent a message. I said, hey friend, I overpaid you. I overpaid you by this much. If you'll check this transaction ID on the blockchain, you'll be able to see it. I've always, never once, this is how many times I've not gotten back a message. 0 so far. I'm not saying it's impenetrable. I'm definitely saying it's going to happen at some point that I won't get my message back. But if you just send a message to that person that you're transacting with and ask them and just say, hey, I overpaid you. Could you send me back the difference? It's this much. Every single time I've gotten it back. They're always like, yeah, sure, of course. No problem. So I want you guys to know that I have experience, raw experience doing this. And I don't want to be the only one holding this. I want other people to be able to do this. To be able to reach out, send somebody a message, send your brother, send your sister a message. We're the same species. And just go ahead and ask them, hey, I've overpaid you, or I didn't know what the price was, or something else. I paid you 2 times because I didn't see my transaction going through the first time. Could you send me back one of those? Do it. See what happens. What's the alternative? You have to wait, like the guy in our previous article, and call up a bank and be like, hey, can you please help me? Because I can't write the message to that person myself. Can you, the bank, stop the transaction, please? Now, is that really helping us draw closer together as a species? Is that really helping us become our brother or our sister's keeper when we have the opportunity to call a third-party company to deal with our problems? Is it completely bad that we have those third-party companies to deal with our problems? No. There's good and bad to everything. I'm just trying to highlight what the differences are here, so that way if we can end up becoming sovereign and we can make our own transactions and ask the people for the money back instead of needing to go to a third-party company to stop that. That's where we evolve, my friends. That's where we can establish our relevancy as a species, as a planet, as everything. And that's where it'll be hard for G20 members to sit around a table and go, well, it looks like we need to regulate Bitcoin. It looks like it's getting too out of hand. It's becoming too much of a risk now, Johnson. We need to stop it. We need to regulate it. We need to do whatever we can to make sure that people aren't getting hurt, to protect them. Well, let me tell you, my friends, if you start to operate sovereignly, you're protecting yourself. And then the meetings will have to go somewhat like this. Well, Johnson, we were here to meet up about Bitcoin, but it seems as though a lot of people are really educating themselves. And now there are schools popping up all over the earth on how to end up establishing yourself in cryptocurrency. We have people helping each other out left and right, everywhere around the globe on trying to end up sending these types of cryptocurrency. So we did bring this meeting to the table today, yes. But I think that with the data that has been showing in the last few months, that it's something that we may not need to end up regulating so much, because it seems as though that it's becoming a self-regulating entity, which in the beginning did pose risk because we didn't know about it. But now that we're understanding it more and we're using it more, it doesn't pose so much of a risk. In fact, it poses more of a risk to continue doing the same things that we've been doing the whole time. And I hope that at that meeting, at the G20 meeting, somebody stands up and they're sovereign enough to go, hey, let me just ask you guys this. Everybody raise your hands. How many people in this G20 meeting here have sent and received Bitcoin to somebody else? Let's just look at that. And then, okay, cool. Thank you for being honest with your hands. Let's go ahead and ask each other, did you feel really unsafe in that transaction? Did you feel like you needed protection between you and that other person? Did you feel like you could reach out to that other person and maybe submit a support ticket? At least. And then, those are the questions. If we have those questions popping up at these types of meetings, we'll be having some pretty enlightened meetings. We'll be having some pretty enlightened people walking out of meetings going, wow, I feel so good about being alive right now, just because things are starting to regulate themselves and we don't need to regulate each other. That's beautiful. So that's the whole point that I'm trying to get at, and I'm sensitive at this because Bruno Le Maire is going to try to end up doing some things during April. Let's go ahead and see what happens with cryptocurrencies during April and cryptocurrencies between now and April, because we currently have stock markets trading it, governments using it. We have whole countries now only being able to stand on their feet because of it. So, okay. Anyways, next, just going to go ahead and put out an article. The news is so funny with how it goes up and down. Check this out. Cointelegraph putting out an article that says U.S. prosecutors rush to sell Bitcoin confiscated in drug bust. After seizing Bitcoin from a criminal drug ring, attorneys in the state of Utah are in a rush to sell the valuable cryptocurrency, as reported by Time magazine. A year ago, 27-year-old Aaron Shamo was arrested in Cottonwood Heights, Utah on multiple drug dealing charges. According to Time magazine, he was doing some things with opioids, okay? But at the time of his arrest, the authorities seized $500,000 worth of Bitcoin. Due to Bitcoin's substantial growth this year, the confiscated sum is now worth $8.5 million. As for why the authorities want to sell now, in court papers, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Utah cites the cryptocurrency market's volatility as the primary reason. Now, let's just think about that. We have prosecutors now that have taken Bitcoin from somebody else because that other person broke a law, and now this person that took that Bitcoin from that other person is saying, wow, this is really getting to be a good investment. We can make a lot of money off this. I think we should sell this evidence, Johnson. Do you remember, any of my regulars, do you remember how I reported on this? Like, I think almost a month ago. It was like a month or 2 months ago, and I was asking that important question. What are these people going to do with all the Bitcoin that's been seized in government proceedings? Where is that going? What is happening with that Bitcoin? And I said that night that I feel that the honorable thing would be to end up leaving it there if these regulators and these prosecutors really honor their own system that they're using. They would want to keep that there as evidence. But it seems as though as soon as the price gets to be super high, these guys are all about that money, baby. They're like money, money, money. So now that they have taken this Bitcoin from somebody else in a drug bust and it's worth a lot, they think they're going to go ahead and sell the evidence to make money off the evidence. So I just want you guys to see sovereignly how this is all playing out, so that you can see what's going on right now. And I still want you to believe that this is not for spreading fear, uncertainty, or doubt. This is to let you see how beautiful of a time it is that we're alive, to be alive right now. Things are very confused. Things are very off balance. And that's another reason why we beam light down from the spaceship doing esoteric studies and the other transmissions. Because look at this. Look at where we're at. Look at the confusion going on. Our government doesn't know what to do with the Bitcoins. Other governments are trying their hardest to regulate it. Before they regulate it, all these other people that are law prosecuting people because they are working for the law and trying to make the law something that you can count on, now they're selling it because it's a high profit, because greed got in. So look, my friends, just look at your hearts. Just look at what's happening and be grateful to be alive. And be grateful to be able to partake and buy into something like this, because ultimately I see out of all this confusion that there's a massive brain, a government that has to reboot, that has to rethink its most fundamental structures, because now that brain is being decentralized to the whole earth. And that's why it's important for us to know about what's happening and to be sovereign with these decisions that we're making. Because, yeah, look at that. U.S. prosecutors are selling Bitcoin confiscated in drug bust because it means a lot. It's worth a lot now. How are you supposed to have any faith in that type of system when you see people doing that with the evidence in your case? Wow. Okay? So then finally, in the news, I just wanted to go ahead and report on something that is, it's important to me. We talk about words. We talk about how important words are, and we talk about how important definitions are. Now look at this. PBS.org is putting out an article. Let me just show you the original so you can see. This isn't even a Bitcoin site right now. This is just PBS.org, okay? They just put out an article yesterday saying the CDC director says there are no banned words at the agency. Alright. Why are we having to put out an article about words? Because they're important, my friends. They're so important that they govern how we think, how we look, how we communicate with each other, how we look at things, how we communicate with each other. So look at this. The CDC director must come out and make a stance about this, and somebody else must make an article about this. And I feel like I must speak about this because it's so important for us to know our definitions. Let me just check the chat too. Yo, Cough Syrup, thank you for joining. Steven, thank you for joining. Jeffrey, all of you guys. Hey, Morty. Hey, all of you guys. JJ, all of you guys. Appreciate all of you guys for joining on. Just make sure that you get on with the link in the bottom to chat. Let's get up on the chat. So, yeah, if you have any questions for me, follow the link at the bottom and, ask them up in the chat because I don't be able to see them. I could just see when you guys are joining. But, all right, so look. U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director, so the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, the director, Brenda Fitzgerald, addressed a report that President Donald Trump's administration had banned the CDC from using 7 words or phrases in next year's budget documents. The terms are fetus, transgender, vulnerable, entitlement, diversity. Diversity. Evidence-based and science-based. Those are 2 words, but they're trying to wrap it up into a word or a term, according to a story first reported by the Washington Post. But Fitzgerald went on a series of tweets on Sunday that said that there are no banned words while emphasizing the agency's commitment to data-driven science. So she says here on a tweet, I want to assure you there are no banned words at the CDC. We will continue to talk about all important public health programs. So CDC has a long-standing history of making public health and budget decisions that are based on the best available science and data and for the benefit of all people. And we will continue to do so, she said. So let me just go ahead and show you though. A spokesperson for the Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the CDC. So the CDC takes their orders from Department of Health and Human Services. So Department of Health and Human Services said that the reported decree on banned words was a misrepresentation. The assertion that the Department of Health and Human Services has banned words is a complete mischaracterization and discussions regarding the budget formulation process. So basically what they're trying to do, let me just show you. Very important for us to see this. So, but in the follow-up reporting, the New York Times cited that a few CDC officials who suggested the move was not meant as an outright ban, but rather a technique, my friends, a technique to help secure Republican approval for the 2019 budget by eliminating certain words and phrases. Okay, so, I just quesoed myself. I love queso. Alright, so, check this out. Brenda Fitzgerald is trying to end up coming out saying, no, there are no banned words. But if you go and talk to everybody else at the CDC, the New York Times is reporting that everybody else is saying there aren't any words that are banned outright. But there are certain words and phrases that are eliminated. Do you see how they pulled a bait and switch? Right there. Right there. There aren't any words that are banned outright, but in order for us to get our money from the Republicans in 2019, we need to eliminate certain words and phrases so we look good to them. Okay, so think about this. What are the good, what is the bad to all of this? The good might end up being that, they could end up staying around as the CDC if they get their money. And it's sad if the CDC feels that they have to just get money from Republicans right now. And it's sad that they don't have the sovereignty to stand up and go, wait a second, we can get money from anybody. In fact, if we just provide great research and great data. Think about this, guys. This is open to this world, and I know that a lot of the things that I'm saying right now could be debatable. They're absolutely debatable. They're absolutely open for debate. But what I'm just trying to show the humans of Earth is what's happening and how important words are. Words are very important. And that's why the Trump administration sees that, and they're trying to ban certain words at the CDC. And what could be the detriment of this? It could be that now the CDC is not going to be allowed to look at any type of disease or any type of topic, or anything can't come up that involves the word fetus, that involves transgender, that involves the word vulnerable, that involves entitlement, that involves diversity. That's the biggest hit right there. Because how are you going to say the CDC has a long-standing history of making public health and budget decisions that are based on the best available science and data for the benefit of all people, when you're not allowed to even use the word diversity anymore, my friend? And okay, hold on. Why aren't you allowed to use the word diversity anymore? Because you want money? Wake up. Wake up. You could use whatever word you want. And it just might be more attractive to people, and you might still get your money if that's really all you want. So that's all I'm just trying to say, my friends, is that this is so important for us to see. Because as it is right now, you're seeing the CDC now having to change the words, that you can't speak these words on papers inside the CDC. You can only tell your coworkers, oh, hey, we don't talk about that here. Is that not government? Is that not control of the mind? Governing of the mind? That is. And that's where I'm trying to tell you, my friends, words are important. Because if they were just still allowed to use words like diversity, entitlement, vulnerable, things like that around the CDC, then they could be open to a lot more broad topics to look at. Alright, so that's it. That's it for the news, my friends. Finally, I just wanted to go ahead and pop out on something really fast here that just means something to me. And let me just go ahead and get this set up here, because, you know, a lot of times we end up creating things that we end up doing things that we need to do to help each other, you know, and I don't end up doing this very often on this channel, but I just want you guys to end up seeing what is possible when people are sovereign and when people are trying to do great things for themselves. So here's what I want to say, is that, you know, right now we have something that is very important to me, and right now I just want you guys to see this this GoFundMe page. I don't do too many like donations or anything where like I'm just trying to like shout out to like a specific person, at least yet. But I will say this, is that this is something that is kind of close to my heart. These are some people that I know that have helped me in the past, and I just want you guys to know that these are some people that have treated me like parents in times when I was going through areas where I needed to really express myself, and I needed a place to end up having that expression, to have no limits. And who are these people? These people are parents of one of my very good friends that I used to be in a hip-hop crew with. So I used to rap. In fact, I do still. I don't even know what I'm talking about, man. I'm doing it till the day I die, you know what I'm saying? But that in words. So as you guys can see even deeper about like how words are important to me. But at a time when I was rapping, I was able to end up going over to my friend's house, where his parents would always be so warm and hospitable to us and allow us to be just heathens and record music. And they would also allow us to eat food over there, sometimes making food for us. And this is all just honorable. This is all just something that you can tell that when somebody's sovereign, they're able to not only provide for themselves, but they're able to provide for other people. And here's a couple people right here that didn't stop at trying to take an opportunity to do something like that. At least for me here. And so what's happening now is I'm posting up just a small challenge to anybody. If they want to end up donating something and they want to do something good for not only themselves but their species, and if they want to feel good for like the holiday season, Here's a good way to end up doing something. Here is something where I'm not going to end up everybody's business completely, but I just want you guys to know this. Let me ask you this, actually. Have you ever gotten into an investment where you really trusted somebody? You trusted somebody so much that you were like, yeah, this sounds good. I'm going to do it. And you put a lot in, only for that person to then run off with your money. Have any of you guys ever felt that? If you have, that's what I want you to know that some of my friends are going through right now. Some people that are kind of close to me. And they ended up investing quite a bit so that way they could try to end up having a good life for themselves. This isn't like some type of family that's like trying to end up accumulating massive amounts of wealth and more and more and more materialistic goods. It's more about just trying to live a good life until you graduate. And I just want, the people of Earth to see this, because this is something that's that's good to talk about for sovereignty. And this is my friend's parents that have tried to do everything they can for themselves during their whole life, worked hard, didn't ask, didn't try to take handouts. And let me let you know that it's actually kind of hard for them to even let anybody in their family know that they need this type of help. That's how sovereign they've become. However, during times in our life, we have to know that sometimes the best times to be the greatest masters are when we allow other people to give us the help in the times that we need to help, and we can help. So I just want you guys to know that this is a couple here that normally wouldn't even need any type of handouts. They wouldn't need anything like that. They wouldn't even ask for help. And let me tell you this, they're not asking for help. My friend put this page together for his parents just because they weren't willing to try to end up asking for it too much on their own. Now I want you guys to know that this is a very beautiful stance that a human can take when they realize that they've made a decision, an investment decision that didn't turn out to be the best. And guess what? They're still not trying to ask everybody around them for help. But my friend found out about it, and he started a GoFundMe page, and I wanted to end up making it part of my mission to go ahead and at least spread some more love to it, and just try to end up giving out just a little bit of shout out to that, and saying, if you guys want to, go ahead and click on the link that's in the chat. Y'all can donate. And this is just from a family that is pretty much, they've put everything that they could on the line into an investment, and they didn't ask for much in return. And this is an opportunity where you can really help. So I just wanted to end up throwing that out there. And as you can see here, I've already donated a little bit myself. And it's just something that makes me feel good, and it makes me comprehend the meaning of what it is to be human, of what it is to have a heart, of what it is to be alive at such a beautiful and abundant time. It's a testament to our faith and our abundance. Because let me just tell you this, you wouldn't be, if you haven't met these people, or if you did meet them, you would end up getting help from them if they had anything they could to give back. My friend's parents came to so many of my hip hop shows, so many times that we've just had great times, just laughing and having a great experience. And so I just wanted to end up giving you guys that link. If you want to donate, go for it. If not, I'm not pressing anybody to it, but I just wanted to end up speaking a little bit about it, because these guys are pretty much a testament of what I see as being sovereign, where you're able to end up doing everything you can for yourself, and you provide for others that that aren't in the position as you are at that time, such as me in the past. And then also, when you end up making a decision where you put everything on the line, and you still take accountability for that decision, and not asking for super handouts and you're not crying or whining to anybody to try to fix your problems, that's beautiful. That's sovereign. That's what we're trying to get back to here, my friends. And that's why I also felt the need to end up posting it up on this channel here. So other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and end the transmission here in just a second. But, you know, I just wanted to end up saying thank you to everybody that ended up coming onto the spaceship tonight. That saw that, you know, what we were talking about with the crypto news. Next, I am going to start getting things ready for our esoteric studies here in just a bit. And we'll go ahead and get that ready. But thank you to everybody that tunes into this every night. I appreciate all of my regulars. I appreciate all of you guys for coming to the spaceship. You're the ones that make it what it is. So, you know, if you want to end up hanging out later on, make sure that you turn on the post notifications. See when the spaceship is blasting off. Take a look at the Twitter. Follow on the Twitter. Follow on the Instagram. And then also for older videos, check out the YouTube, because the YouTube archives all the videos. So, just appreciate you guys. This is Sovereign Starseed saying to the people of Earth, I just hope that you guys go out and you appreciate each other. It's an easy time to do it at this time of the year. And it's an easy time to do it if you have excitement for the technologies that are coming onto the planet and for the things that you're learning, at least on this channel, and that we're all learning together. Thank you. Thank you to my regulars. Thank you to everybody that joined in. Really appreciate you guys. You're the ones that make this channel what it is. Let's keep spreading the positivity. Keep spreading the good vibes. This is Sovereign Starseed saying good night to the humans of Earth. I'll see you tomorrow.